Hi everybody. Okay, I'm gonna try to get into this quickly because I know my videos go long, and at this point I have realized this is basically a podcast, at least for the time being, since I haven't figured out a way to make this very exciting. But this video is definitely gonna have more visual component, I guess, as this is my pop culture, I guess, LGBT thing. I'm just gonna basically go over some books and movies, TV shows, like, just things that are great to watch or read that are representing properly. Sorry, I gotta move a bit. I drew on my light today, and I've already got green all over me, so that's great. Yeah, so with Pride Month starting now, since I'm recording this on the 31st so that it can hopefully be up at some point tomorrow. Unfortunately, with my videos being as long as they are, they do take a little bit longer to upload, but I'm gonna get this up as quickly as I can. Yeah, okay, so I keep a book that says Follow Your Rainbow. I have quotes written out in here. It's basically just a book for me to have reference to different books for me to read eventually, about 6 of which I've crossed off my list. And then, you know, TV shows, movies, which again I underlined those ones. And I mean, I've got songs which I will go over. I'll probably have to open my phone because I don't think this is completely up to date for me. And I mean, I've got a list of my favorite drag queens, but I don't think I'll go over that. I might make reference to it later, but, you know. Anyways, so I'm going to start with books since I've pulled all mine out. They're completely scattered on my bed because they just keep falling out of their pile. I don't have as many as I'd like, but I have a list on my phone, which again, I need to open that when I'm going through these books because I went to my bookstore a couple months ago and found the Pride section, and there's so many that I'm gonna get once I'm up and running in a proper job. It's gonna happen. Please ignore the flyaways. My hair is chaotic since I cut it because it's a bit shorter now, but anyways, okay, I'm actually gonna get into this because I'm failing at this right now. Okay, I'm gonna get situated really quick again because these all fell, and then I'm gonna start, and then I'll go over the books. Okay, there we go. Things are finally sitting properly. So I'm gonna start with the bigger section for me, book-wise, that's actually a couple that go together. As I feel like that's gonna take me the longest since I'm pretty passionate about this book. Those of you that have read it, these are from it, and so is this quote, which is very hard to see because it's a holographic watercolor I used, but just get all of these over here right now instead of having to reach. These aren't all LGBT. I just thought I'd talk about this author in particular. So starting with the proper LGBT stuff in this, I don't have the proper jackets on these. I took all jackets off all of my books, so that may throw things off a little bit, but I'll give authors' names, titles, so you will know who it is and you can find it. I would say I try to put all this in the comment or in the description, but I don't think I'm going to be able to write all of this down. I'll probably forget to by the time that this edits or once I splice everything together and get it on there and do all the stuff. It's definitely gonna be out of my brain, so I will go slow, and obviously this being on YouTube, you can rewind if there's anything that piques your interest. So anyways, so carry on. Please ignore the smudge on here. I was ridiculous when I was in grade 9, I think? 9 or 10, I believe. But my English teacher gave us this big array of books we needed to read, and she gave us descriptions on all of them. Carry On being one of them, which my mom, funny enough, owned, and she'd never read it. She just saw it, thought it sounded interesting. So for any of you that like Harry Potter, Personally, I don't respect J.K. Rowling. If you do, that is fine. I'm not judging. I'm not trying to force my opinion on anybody. Just my opinion. I don't respect people that hate on people for who they are. So, anyways, this is basically the gay version of Harry Potter. I have literally made a table. I think it's on my laptop, and my laptop's not working right now, so I can't even pull it up. But I have made comparisons to all the characters and their counterparts to this. So, with Carry On, there is Baz and Simon. They're both wizards. Baz is a vampire as well, which this is one of my favorite scenes, but it's not from Carry On, but it's also from Carry On. It's a complicated thing, but you'll understand soon. So anyways, they're roommates. They have this huge feud because obviously Simon finds it really weird to be rooming with a vampire, and they've roomed together their entire school life. Much like Harry Potter, Simon Snow is the chosen one, and it's just a very... I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything. I don't plan this stuff out because I don't want this to seem scripted, because this is supposed to be something that's very open and proper. Sorry, this is gonna make things really difficult to see if I don't have a better angle. Difficult because the recording likes to zoom in. But Simon has his best friend, his girlfriend, and then his mentor. Like, it's so much like Harry Potter. It's unbelievable. And yet it's different. Like, it's this... I hope people understand this, because I tend to make zero sense to a lot of people. And yet it makes sense to me, so... But yeah, so obviously I can't go too much into detail with this, as it is the sequel to Carry On. This is Wayward Son, which, yes, I know, Wayward Son's actually a song. Carry On, My Wayward Son is actually the lyrics. Rainbow Rowell, who writes this, spelled like that. I hope this flips, but it's literally spelled like rainbow properly, and then Rowell for Rowell. Just in case, I don't know if this flips after. I hope so. Otherwise, this stuff's all backwards too. She explained that because this takes place in the UK somewhere, but because it's UK, it's a different song that involves the words "carry on," and then because this takes place in America, it goes to Wayward Son, as that is a more American song. I don't know how many people in the UK have heard it. Those that have watched Supernatural obviously have. I don't recall what the third book is. There's another sequel coming out that goes back to the UK, and the name of it is the next part to Carry On in the UK. I know one of my classmates sent me a post of it, and I totally forgot about it until now. And it comes out on July 6th, so for any of you seeing this, if you have read either of these, the third one is coming. Any Way the Wind Blows is the third one. And I've never actually looked into the song. I might do that. But I love Carry On My Wayward Son as a song, and obviously it's made the book titles really interesting. It's a thick book, and I will admit, it took me a long time to get into this. I feel like I skimmed a lot of the beginning of it. Like, I've tried to reread it, but I had this whole rating system going for my stuff. And I mean, I ranked this a 10. I don't know. I didn't give reasons for this stuff. I just did it because I was bored. For those that are like me, it has a little... I don't know if it's in both versions. I think it is. There's multiple, covers. Same with Wayward Son. This one, the cover, I actually sewed... I don't know if that is proper grammatically. I have sewn a blanket that is that cover. It's white, and it's got their faces, and it's, I want to say Baz is blue. Oh no. Simon's blue, Baz is yellow. And it's them looking at each other like this, then you can see a couple buildings down here, and then it says the name across. There's another edition that's just Simon on the cover. I don't know if there are any others. I just know that my teacher had the one with Simon. But that one's soft cover, I believe. I think they made a hardcover of it now, but if you have the original, it's probably a soft, or a paperback, not a soft cover. Jeez. But yeah, I know it's thick. I struggled. I didn't like reading at the time, but I'll tell you right now, chapter 61 is probably the best. I don't know how many there are overall, but mine is, I guess it doesn't, I don't think it technically gives a chapter in this, because I think it's about like 86 chapters or something like that. But it switches a lot, so you can pause in the middle because it switches between perspectives. The imaging between the different parts of it is gorgeous. The map is on the back too, which it's Watford is the school. And yeah, so this book I highly recommend. I'm gonna highly recommend basically all the ones I actually own of these that I have read. I'm currently reading one of the books that I have, but it's just a small little thing. And yeah, so then, forgot to put that back in there. And yes, I have things bookmarked in there. Fair warning, if you're an emotional person, you may cry at the end. Me and one of my old friends, we basically read everything after chapter 61 together, and we both sat and we squealed, we laughed, we cried. It was an emotional journey, to say the least. But I will say, for me personally, it took a bit to get into it, but it's completely worth it. Wayward Son, it was a good book. It was a little bit slow in some parts, but eventually, like, at the beginning, it was just kind of, setting the scene, telling you what happened between the books, and then it gets into everything properly. So I do suggest it, and it's great to have both of them, especially with the third one coming out, as I don't know what it's like. So those I highly recommend. They are so good. Keeping on the trail of Rainbow Rowell, though, and this is where I'm saying that it's a confusing little grouping, because I had read it backwards, technically. I read Carry On and then read Fangirl. So, Carry On is a book in a book. Fangirl was the original book that Rainbow Rowell wrote about this girl named Kath who is obsessed with the Simon Snow novels. Which, much like Harry Potter, there are 8 novels. Well, Harry Potter has 7 novels, 8 movies, but at the start of this book, she, the author, who I cannot for the life of me think of her name right now, Gemma T. Leslie is the one that wrote the Simon Snow books. She had written 7 books, all of which Kath owned. She's obsessed with Simon Snow and with Baz, and she writes a fan fiction. It's basically what she would have done for Baz and Simon, like the storyline she would have told, which is called Carry On Simon. So she basically wants to wrap up hers throughout this book before the 8th one comes out. So this technically comes first, and it makes sense going either way. I read Carry On, then Fangirl, then Wayward Son. Either way it works. Just obviously don't read Wayward Son first. You can do Carry On, then Wayward Son, then Fangirl, do it in order. Do it the same way I did. It's up to you. Had I known that this was first, I probably would have read it, but I did Carry On for a school assignment. We did a book study. I did this for a presentation I had to do, which, I had to pick a part of the book to read out. So I wrote all of that that was a huge part from the book. I've thought about the idea of, you know, making like a proper parted series of like an audiobook, but I'm not 100% sure of how it works when, you know, you're not talking to the author and being able to get the rights to read it. So I don't know if you need to in order to make like a podcast audiobook sort of thing. I mean, if anybody knows, I would love to hear information on it because I have no idea. And if you guys are interested in it, and I can, I could read these and do them in order and make playlists so that you can just go through. But I'm uncertain of how that works. So, you know, if you have any information on that, I'll try to look into it, see if I can find anything. And then if you guys want it, just let me know and I'll see if I can and just let you know. But yeah, so Fangirl technically comes first. And recently, Rainbow Rowell started making, my brother said it's manga. I keep saying manga because of the way it's spelt. Either way, made a graphic novel. And it's all black and white, but it characterizes everyone. Because with the book, we only have like a 2D kind of sketch of Catherine and her roommate's boyfriend Levi. Whereas this like gives you, you know, I need to find a better page. This gives you proper characterization of what they look like. So this is only part 1. I'm uncertain of how many she's making or when the next one comes out, honestly. But this was like $25, technically less than. I bookmarked my favorite parts. I'm kind of obsessed with that. I've also color-coded all my books, so you'll probably see that on the ones that aren't hardcover, because those are all almost jackets. But yeah, so Fangirl does have a manga, whatever, graphic novel that you can read, but it'll take you longer to get through it, obviously, since the first one's only out. I'm gonna look into eventually when the second one comes out, because I am waiting very impatiently. But if you do end up enjoying Rainbow Rowell, there are these. I have another one of her books, Landline, but it's in my nightstand right now, and it's buried. I totally forgot about that. Almost Midnight. It's not LGBT, as far as I remember. Could be wrong. She has another book called Attachments, which is the only one I'm missing, and she also helped to write the Marvel Runaway comics, so if you're interested in Marvel, check those out. I have yet to get those. But yeah, so it's 2 small stories. I got one of my friends, the same one that read Carry On with me, and Wayward Son with me. I got him to read this. And yeah, it was a good book. Sorry, I don't know why. I swear I'm not sad or anything. My voice just cracked the way that it does when I am. Eleanor Park, as far as I remember, has no LGBT things to it. This was another book that I read in the same grade. It was my second project, and it just so happened it was Rainbow Rowell, and my mom had it as well. So, other than Carry On and Eleanor Park, I have bought all of these by myself, and have, you know, just slowly accumulated them. I had no idea this existed, and then my mom just got me Landline for Christmas last year, and I'm planning to get the final book as soon as possible, which is Attachments. But lastly, LGBT-wise and Rainbow Rowell-wise that I have is Pumpkinheads. It doesn't really focus around her. She's his best friend, and he's basically trying to get together with this chick that he's had a crush on. It does say it's number 1. It says 1. I don't know if this flips, because if it doesn't, it says 10 to you guys, but Deja is bi and very open about it. It's another one of those ones that has a little map around it. I don't think my Fangirl one does. Yeah, no. But there is a fangirl one that if you open the front page, it's just covered in a picture, and it's gorgeous. My Wayward Son one, if I take this out, it has just, like, more clouds, which I love. I did give Wayward Son, like, an 8 because it wasn't as good as Carry On, but it was still good. It was just a little bit repetitive. So, yeah, so I strongly suggest Rainbow Rowell overall, especially for those of you that have enjoyed J.K. Rowling until everything came out about her. If you have enjoyed those, but, you know, don't want to give money to somebody that's transphobic, homophobic, you know, against the community in general, J.K. Rowling is incredible. She's a huge advocate and is just an amazing writer. Her stuff is very powerful and beautiful. The next book, which I have been rereading because I flew through this. I think this one took me about 2 weeks to read, if I'm correct. So this is called The Summer of Jordy Perez and the Best Burger in Los Angeles. It's by Spalding, and I know there's a first, Amy Spalding. Sorry, this only shows her last name. I didn't even notice. But this is centered around a girl, not Jordy. Jordy is the love interest, who is just great. Abby is the main chick that's, you know, the center of attention in this. I don't know, I related a lot to Abby. And I mean, it was funny because the cover that's the jacket, it's this long pink-haired chick that I used to have long pink hair, which was on accident. Long hair, not on accident, but the pink was supposed to be purple, and it ended up being pink for almost an entire year. It's in my only yearbook that I have, which is really unsettling. It's easy to spot me in a crowd, though. And I still was continued to be called the pink-haired girl through the rest of my public school, high school life, which was 3 years of being the pink-haired girl. That was it. Which kind of sucked, and, yeah. So, anyways, this is a really good book. I stopped reading it for a bit because I had to do proper school stuff and didn't have the time. Unfortunately, because I'm doing an online school, I haven't had a chance to read a book that I want to. So, it's all been books chosen by my school, and yeah. But this is just, it's a very realistic look at how it is to just start dating, especially when you don't know if somebody is, you know, into your gender, basically. Because, like, you know, you don't always want to assume that somebody is or assume that they're not, because then if they are, you've basically just given up. Trust me, I've been there, done that, to a degree. Made an assumption that my girlfriend may or may not be, at least, you know, because since I'm on the A spectrum, I wasn't sure if, even if she was attracted to females, I wasn't certain if she'd be okay dating somebody on the A spectrum, which obviously has worked out for me. But it's always that worry of, like, that something about your sexuality or your gender isn't gonna work out for somebody that you have a crush on or that you even found interesting. So with this book, it does go into at least a little bit of detail. You can really just pay attention to the thought process of Abby, and it's really incredible, to say the least. Sorry, I'm trying really hard not to hold on to these for too long, because I don't want to get green all over my books. I think I've got 3 more left that I own physically, and then I'll just kind of go over this list really quick. Just, these are ones I haven't read, but if you search up LGBT books, they're here, and I mean, just gives you an idea of what's out there. So I have no information on these books. Just gonna give you basically a list so that you have other things to go off of, especially if you've read these books and you need something new. I don't know how many people have read some Jordy Perez. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about it. So that was a unique book for me because nobody around me knew what it was. Even my teachers that were in charge of GSA, they had no idea. Anyways, okay, so I'm just gonna move these over here. This, for any of you that watched Queer Eye, the newer one, the original one does not partake to this. This is for the Fab Five in the newest with, you know, Jonathan, Anthony, Tan, Bobby, and Karamo. I always forget one of them every time. Normally, I tend to remember Jonathan and Anthony. It's the other three that I'll space on one of them, and it's super annoying. They have, I want to say 3 or 4 seasons out already, maybe more. They also have like a special that they did in Japan. I'll get into that TV shows. I'm getting way ahead of myself. But my mom has their big book, and they just go over a lot of their specialties into a book so you have it. I wound up finding just this little book at the store, and I couldn't help getting it. It was still $20, but totally worth it. I've bookmarked a bunch of stuff that's gonna help me once I move out. But with, I think this stuff is with just them all together, and it's just a self-care thing. Then they go into just owning who you are. It talks about coming out, it talks about dating, and then it gives you LGBT resources, which I will just list these out really quick, as well as the, actually I'm gonna do a separate one on mental health, so I'll go over those then. But for LGBTQIA plus resources, there's ACT UP, which is, I'll put these websites in the description, because at least this I'll remember. I will actually maybe bookmark this if this thing would come off of here, just so I remember to put these in the comments. Description? That's throwing me off. I am so not used to being the one to put stuff in the description. So there's ACT UP, which is, I mean, these are all going to be www, but actupny.com. It's a diverse, I'm reading this word for word here, because I have personally never looked into these. I know about the Trevor Project, but I don't know about these ones yet. But ACT UP is just a diverse, non-partition group of individuals committed to direct action to help the AIDS crisis. Then there's GLSEN, which is www.glsen.org, formerly known as the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network. They just go through LGBT plus issues in K-12 education, which I think is absolutely great that there is a place you can go to look into that. Then there's GSA Network, which is gsanetwork.org, helps LGBT students and straight allies to organize GSA clubs to create safer schools. So obviously, if you have a GSA at your school, there's the possibility that they've gone through this. Then there's PFLAG, which is parents, families, and friends of lesbians and gays. And it's just, I think it's just a way to talk to other people or see other people's stories. It doesn't give too much information, but that's pflag.org. These are pretty much all .org except ACT UP, which is .com. And there's Stonewall Community Foundation, where it's Community Foundation for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and ally donors, volunteers, and grant and scholarship seekers. And that's stonewallfoundation.org. And then there's the Trevor Project, which provides information to LGBT youth through the Trevor Support Center and Trevor Chat features, as well as a I do want to give a trigger warning before I say this, just to be safe. But it has a suicide prevention hotline. So yeah, so it is definitely helpful. One of my favorite drag queens is actually going live right now, which I'm assuming is because Pride Month starts in like an hour and a half. So anyways, I'll get into the mental health ones in a later episode, or in a later video, which I'll probably do next week or this weekend, I'm not sure. But then getting into Bobby's stuff, there's home design and like giving you a safe space. He goes over how to decorate your room, how to remodel, how to just, you know, make DIY things. Then Jonathan has all of his grooming stuff. Then there's Tan's clothing advice. Oh, right, all the stuff about your body, like just helping yourself out through meditation and stuff, that's Karamo. I genuinely forgot that was what he did. I don't know why I had it in my head that, like, he was just kind of emotional support, which still should have clicked to me. Good grief. Anyways, and then Anthony has some recipes and stuff in here, and he has an area where you can put your own. And then he gives ideas for different things to have for different events you may host, which I think is great. Sorry, I need to stretch my leg out. But yeah, so Queer Eye Guide is really great. Yeah, so I highly suggest this. It's very quick read. Obviously, you could even just go to what applies to you. I know in the hair section, I only read the short hair stuff. I didn't read the stuff for long hair or shoulder length. So then there's Little Book of Pride, which there isn't a lot to say about this book as far as I know so far, and I'm this far in at this point. All of this is done. But it gives you the history of the LGBT community. It talks about Stonewall, it talks about how the laws were within different countries. I think country-wise, I don't know if I bookmarked it. It talks about Oscar Wilde, and then different, like, bars that were attacked and whatnot. It talks about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. But yeah, so it talks about Pride around the world, which it includes the UK, Spain, Brazil, Australia. Australia has a lot. It talks about the AIDS crisis. I know there's crisis, sorry. But yeah, then there's Canada, East Asia, India, San Francisco, USA. And yeah, so then it goes into the rainbow flag and what you need to know about it. There were, for those of you that don't know, there were originally 8 colors to it. Where now, you know, it's the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. It used to be pink, red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, purple. And from what I've read recently, the only reason that turquoise and pink were taken out was because of how hard they were to make dye-wise, and because it was such a huge demand. So yeah, then it goes into the other flags. There is a thing where, and I will read this out really quick. Depending on what you read, one of the myths surrounding the creation of the rainbow flag is that it is inspired by the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, sung by Judy Garland in the 1939 film Wizard of Oz. Judy Garland was a gay icon. I did read in here, I think it was in this book actually, which I'll get into, but they speak about the fact that they would, at least, you know, gays when they were going around, they would ask, "Are you a friend of Judy's?" in relation to Judy Garland to see if somebody else was gay. and not out themselves. If they didn't know, obviously the odds were that they probably weren't, because this was just a known thing. They did change it, and I don't recall what they changed it to. Yeah. Anyways, the last book I have, and then I'll get into these really quick, and then move on to the next little category, because I'm already 30 minutes in, which is insane. Probably closer to 40 with my introduction thing. This book is gay. Juno Dawson. I apparently have a piece of paper sitting in here. I'm curious as to why, but I have yet to find it again, which is kind of annoying. I swear oh, nope, it's right there. Ah, yes, the Harp Squid Quiz. It's nothing crazy. I'll go over it really quick. If you guys want to pause this, it says get a pencil because you can write in here, but, get a paper, get a pencil. And you don't have to, obviously. I'm just gonna read this off, give you guys something to do that's kind of fun. So question 1, and you can pause this as we go, because I obviously am not gonna be super slow, since it's kind of awkward for me to just sit here in silence, and for those that aren't doing this, it's awkward to just sit and wait. So question 1 is, what is your sexual or gender identity? Which, for me at the time was just, I wrote bisexual female. Obviously that's changed since it's still bisexual, but it's demi-girl now, but number 2, what is/was your strongest subject at school? Number 3, what do you cook when you want to impress someone? I don't even know what I wrote. Stir fry. I guess, don't really cook to impress, and I still don't, at least not at this point. Then, what's a favorite quote from a book or film? I put "You were the sun and I was crashing into you" from Carry On, which is what's written on this. Worst part is you can tell how old this was because I was still in my last relationship. Because I know I have not done this since my current one, and yeah. Tell me one thing only your mother would know about you, which I just wrote every part of the garbage I've been through, because my mom's been the only one to stick around, at least long enough to see every bit. I do have people that are still around now that, came into it later and have still proven that they care and that they are willing to listen. Unfortunately, I have not had that many, but I also want to actually know all of it. What's your secret talent? I have no idea what I wrote for this. Oh yeah, I said I don't know about secret, but lesser known as my writing abilities, because I don't let people read my writing or show people my writing. Sorry, my words are just getting smushed. Number 7, who would play you in a movie of your life? And obviously this is up to you. This is pretty much purely theoretical. I mean, who knows? You may end up being somebody that has a movie made about you. At the time of writing this, I put Mae Whitman. I don't know, I've really enjoyed her, but at this point, I would probably change it to Joey King or Millie Bobby Brown. I just love them both, and they are really great actresses. Number 8, if you could do any job in the world, what would it be? I said teacher, artist on the side, because, I enjoy my painting, but I really do want to be a teacher. Number 9, who's your best friend, real or imaginary? which I think that's great. They kept it open. At the time, I did say my girlfriend. My partner, you know. And then number 10, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I put just getting through university, you know, getting into being a teacher, getting into my proper job. Yeah. So that's fun. Anyways, so this book is gay, goes over dozens of things. I can list off the chapters real quick. I will admit, this is one of the most, I think, realistically you talking to somebody kind of books, where it goes into specifics about, you know, I'm just going to talk basically to the reader, and it's amazing. I found this completely on accident. I had gone into a bookstore and just saw this, and, yeah, I think it was like $15 or something, and my mom bought it for me. And, yeah, so there's the introduction, welcome to the members club, the name game, you can't mistake our biology, stereotypes are poo, the fear, haters gonna hate, coming out, where to meet people like you, the ins and outs of gay sex, nesting hats, guide to recognizing your gay saints, which I am actually gonna go back there because I totally forgot to make a list of icons. One that I don't think is on here, I am gonna go into a little bit of depth, but I may end up making a second part, which I will post. It'll be as soon as the first one posts, I will post it. Just so you can do one after another. I just don't want this to go for over an hour. But then there is Build a Bridge, the cheat sheet, acknowledgements, and about the author. I guess I should actually look at the page number, hey? Guide to Your Gay Saints, 233. Obviously you can skip what you don't want to read. Sorry, I forgot the number already. I bookmarked a lot of stuff that I thought was important at the time, and I'm actually going to go through and bookmark some things for my mom, because she is trying really hard to learn about this stuff because of me coming out, and like she's super supportive, but she also hasn't really learned about it. So, you know, she's doing her best to learn about it now, and yeah, so I'm gonna go through this actually tonight, and I'm gonna change the colors of these because I just used whatever I had around, but now I've got good stuff for bookmarking. Oh no. Some of my things are getting wrecked over here. Yeah, so I mean, ABBA was a Swedish pop marriage, made in Eurovision. Itself is a mothership of camp. I'm gonna try to go through the ones that I know, but there are a lot in here. Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. The couple finally came out on the cover of the New Yorker when a key part of the United States Defense of Marriage Act was struck down by that country's Supreme Court in 2013, which at this point it was time. Beyonce, if you're known, it literally says if you're known worldwide by your first name alone, you automatically qualify. And I mean, I don't think I've known many people in the LGBT community that don't in some way like Beyonce. That's wrong. I have known somebody. But she's just an icon. And I mean, even if I don't know if he's in here, but Todrick Hall is, where it would be here if, no. So Todrick Hall is, he's just amazing. He's out, and like, ever since I learned about him, I have absolutely loved him. I found him on Drag Race, and now I listen to his music. He is obsessed with Beyonce. It's just amazing. So he's one of those people that, if you don't follow him, at least look into him, check out his music. Chaz Bono, Chaz Bono. That's they talk about this a lot. Everybody just makes reference to it that he came out of Cher's vagina. He is trans female to male. And he's on Drag Race a lot. I think that's where I first found out about him. But he's just amazing. David Bowie. Me and my girlfriend talk about him a lot. I think that's one of our main topics at this point. But for those of you who don't know him off the top of your head, at least music-wise, to this point, like, if you know him music-wise, you know him, or at least you know his name. But he plays Gareth the Goblin King in Labyrinth. And he's incredible. He's bisexual. Was. Then Cher, for obvious reasons. Chris Colfer, who played, I cannot think of his name. Kurt Himmel on Glee. He actually has books out that are fantasy. They're incredible. I don't know if Naya Rivera's on here. I don't know if she personally was part of the LGBT community, but she did play someone in the community on Glee as well. Definitely worth looking into. Joan Crawford I honestly had no idea who Joan Crawford was, but she is, I don't know, she did a couple things. She did Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. There's just a lot of spoofs of her in Drag Race, and I had never heard of her before that. Like, Drag Race has really been my way to be opened up to the world of the community. I'm trying to go through these really quick. Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, I feel like everybody knows about Ellen. Alright. Apologies. I had to go into some stuff. But yeah, so with Ellen DeGeneres, I feel like if you're in the community, even if you're not, you probably know who Ellen is. Divine. I mean, I don't know if Divine was... Oh yeah, Divine was a drag queen. And she did a lot of, like, little films. She did die very young. I don't know her age to be exact. But she just, like, she had the most ridiculous makeup, and, like, she's just iconic. And yet again, if you want to learn more about her, obviously you can look into her, or if you watch Drag Race, I think it's season 7, I think they do some little thing towards her. Doctor Who does have a gay man. Oh, sorry. A bi man. Captain Jack Harkness. I don't think he comes in until season 9 or 10? Maybe not even until 11. I'm not sure. Judy Garland, we've obviously talked about. Elton John. He is very out and amazing. Lady Gaga, she's, bi, and I mean, if you don't know that, like, if you listen to her music, a lot of it proves it, and I mean, she's very out about it. I mean, Macklemore, I don't know if he's part of the community more than an ally. It doesn't specify, but he in 2013 with the song Same Love, he called out hip-hop and how homophobic it is. Same Love, I just listened to it again today. It's so good. I have all of the lyrics written out that I did forever ago. But it's by him and Ryan Lewis. And I highly suggest listening to it if you haven't. Madonna. I mean, at this point I hope everybody knows about Madonna. Ian Mckellen, I genuinely had no idea until my mom told me. Apparently he is a huge advocate for the community, which is great. I absolutely love him. Liza Minnelli, she's Judy Garland's daughter, and where is she on here now? She's done cabaret, she's done a lot, and she is just, I don't know if she's part of the community, but I do know she's a huge advocate. Rosie O'Donnell, not Donald, sorry. She's just an outspoken lesbian television personality. A lot of people don't like her. I absolutely love her. I've only seen her in one thing, which is a show that I'm actually going to talk about in part 2. But she's great. She's just an icon. I mean, Oprah Winfrey, she's not lesbian, but she's just very outspoken. This does say Orange is the New Black on here, which I will obviously talk about in the TV show. This does say some shows, movies, you know. Dolly Parton, she, as it says in here, she is a countrified version of Cher. I mean, she was this woman, it says on here, empire, and again, she's an advocate, and she's amazing. I mean, RuPaul, obviously one of the biggest drag queens in the world. I'm gonna get into RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff. John Waters, he worked with Divine. He was the one that actually made the productions and like recorded her and whatnot. And I think that's about it of ones that I actually know. Obviously, you may know other ones. And like, see, it says like blacklist and boycott. Don't download music from rappers who use the F slur, because you're just paying them to be homophobic. Don't see films based on books by notable homophobe authors, and don't buy their books, which I've stopped doing with J.K. Rowling. Unfortunately, I had bought some stuff from her before I knew. I think it was before everything came out about her. I mean, I didn't know until about 2 years ago, if not less than. And unfortunately, the Christmas break before that, I had just bought a ton, but I have not bought anything that is related to her since. Obviously, I'm stuck on the Rainbow Rowell track, and I'm smooth sailing from there. The Build a Bridge chapter is about just guidance for parents and carers of the LGBT youth. Don't pay to see comedians who are homophobic or add to homophobic myths about the gay community. Don't travel to countries with poor human rights records, because, I mean, for one, it's incredibly dangerous, and for two, it's just getting, I mean, you going there, paying to stay there, paying to buy things, paying for food, you're just giving the money to their government, which definitely sucks, because there are places that could be interesting, but what are you gonna do? And do not buy produce from countries with poor human rights records. For example, mind you, I'm reading this. For example, at the time of writing, many LGBT plus people are refusing to buy Russian vodka because of that country's discriminatory stance against gays. But yeah, no one wants to be associated with a bigot, and least of all a record label or a film studio, so obviously they're probably gonna get shut down once everything comes out about someone. Hopefully sooner than that, but either way. Anyways, highly suggest. This book is gay. Juno Dawson. I'm just gonna quickly read over this, and then I'm gonna stop this video, go record the second one, and get this one uploading. To other books, mind you, I have not read these. I know some people have read one or two of these. Yeah. I'm gonna try really hard not to butcher names. But, I'm not great at it. This one, so there's Call Me By Your Name, which I don't know who it's by. I genuinely did not know that I had written it down. So, and I mean, that one has a movie adaptation. Day of LGBT Right of Love by Christopher G.I. The Stonewall Riots Coming Out in the Streets by Gayla E. Pittman. Are You Listening by Tilly Walden. The Meaning of Birds by J. Robin Brown. It's Not Like It's a Secret by Misa... Oh... Should I say Misa S? I don't want to butcher that. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. And Huntress by Melinda Lowe. So, I have yet to read all of those, but got some more if you want to go out and get them. Obviously some of these are a lot less visible that they are LGBT. Obviously Getting This Book Is Gay, The Little Book of Pride, Queer Eye Book. Those three are kind of dead giveaways if you're in the closet and you need to hide it. But if you get Carry On, Wayward Son, Fangirl, all your parents need to know is one's about a girl in university who writes a book, and Carry On and Wayward Son are about wizards and vampires and magic and all that stuff. So if you want to have ones that are LGBT that are more hidden, and some are Jordy Perez. If you get the hardcover with the jacket, I don't know if there's a paperback. It does have a rainbow down the side, but you can take that off, and then it's just a plain black book. You'd never know. It doesn't say anything about it being gay. It's just the summer of Jordy Perez, and for all people know, Jordy Perez is the main person. No one needs to know any differently if you don't want them to. Pumpkinheads is another one. You can have that one and you would never know. I think that's one thing I appreciate. I don't know if it's on purpose, but they make it so that it can be hidden. Another book that isn't like crazily LGBT related, which I wasn't gonna mention, but I am. I Hate Everyone But You. It's not crazily, like, it's not centered around it, but one of the main characters is bi, or at least bi-curious. So, again, that one took me, I think, like 3 or 4 days to read. I read it while I was on a trip just before COVID. Yeah, I think I read it in a 4-day span, maybe less. It was quick. It's literally just emails and texts, so it takes no time to read it. I'm actually trying to convince my one friend to read it, but she has a lot of things to read right now, so, you know. Anyways, that is all for part 1. Part 2, I will talk more about the movies and TV shows, and list a couple songs that are really great to listen to. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your Pride Month. I am super excited because my Pride flags are hanging out on my balcony for the first time. I've never had ability to hang them up properly. So, yeah, my room looks kind of bare now because of it, but I'm okay with it. I get to show it off. So for now, I'm going to leave part 1 here, and part 2 should be up hopefully within 24 hours of this. If not, it will be up within the 48 hours. I'm going to upload one at a time just so they don't flip the wrong way. If you guys would like to potentially have me read some of these books, that there's more of an audiobook, great. I'm going to look into it basically as soon as I'm done recording part 2. I will be wearing the same outfit because I am recording it again. I might take this off so I can tell the difference between the videos when I'm editing, but yeah, I will see you guys in other videos or in part 2 if you decide to stick around. Bye.